Hello, I'm OmnusI, your game master this evening here in my lair. Greetings, friends. I am OmnusI, here once more at the Lair of OmnusI to answer a question posed by the RPG Brigade in an attempt to uplift and entertain the community. This question is day 7, the 7th of August. And the question goes, what was your most impactful RPG session? Now, bear in mind, I've had a lot of sessions. Spread across role-playing games that are now out of print, playing with games with people that I haven't seen in 20 years. That covers a lot of territory. It's hard to sum up just one, but actually one comes to mind fairly readily. And I think it was my most emotionally charged game in a setting where the players that were at the table were not players that I have anymore at my table. Some sadness to that, but honestly, it was in kind of a throwaway Star Wars campaign. An interesting thing is that our group had swollen to the point where we had two separate groups, each with their own game master, who were running in the same basement but at different tables. And we rotated turns at telling the stories and being the game master. Those of us who enjoyed being the game master got more turns, but it was an interesting experiment, and we told a lot of good stories. One of the players was playing a scout droid named Bartok, which I'm sure BRTK something. I'm pretty sure he took the name off of what was that movie? Anastasia, the little crazy bat. But doesn't matter. He had the character, and this particular player was never, ever a center of a game. He wasn't an outstanding role player, and he made quirky characters for the most part. If they had a strength, they usually had a significant weakness that counterbalanced it. He wasn't a min-maxer by any stretch of the imagination. And he fought against his character, getting rid of the imperative that he couldn't harm sentience. He was a droid. Had a bunch of useful skills, especially for the non-combat skills. But, yeah, he was a droid. So, along with other characters in the group who are less memorable from this particular encounter, I honestly couldn't tell you everybody who was in the group. I think one of them was a bounty hunter who caused some trouble. But I decided to take this character whose motivation was to find his programmer, his creator. And I thought I would use that in my story. I also created as the backdrop of this story a rival group who was going to challenge the party. And it was bent around the concept of the gun that's pointed at the head of the universe. A possible apocryphal situation the players fall into where they have the appearance that they could destroy everything that exists if they choose to. In this case, because it was Star Wars, it involved the Force. Since the Force connects everything, this super weapon was supposed to rip out the underpinnings that connected everything and possibly cause all life to exist. No more. Would it have worked if the players had chosen to? No, not really, because I had another group that was running another game, and I was really hesitant to walk over and say, I'm sorry, everyone, you're all dead. Everything in the universe is dead. The players destroyed the universe. That wouldn't have worked. But the players didn't react that way. The players actually reacted like it was a significant thing. And worked into it, I worked in the droid's master, his old master, his creator. And through the story, the players fought their rivals. It actually, in the end, turned out that the ancient aliens who created this doomsday weapon had left behind some sentry robots to prevent just a fool from walking up and setting it off. And they were designed to work against those who displayed hostility. So the players actually had to play kind of a gambling game of trying to provoke the other side into fighting them, which kind of worked. I think they ended up using the bots to kill off one of their rivals when he just couldn't stop from fighting them, and he ended up getting vaporized by the guard bots. But one of the things was the group found out that this droid had a self-termination code. Ooh. He's been playing a straight up character all this time, and all of a sudden he realizes, wait a minute, if somebody hits a code, I'm dead. And then he also found out that his creator was there, and his creator unlocked his ability for self-determination. He no longer had the compulsion where he had to follow his creator. He could if he wanted to. I left him an out where he could say, I've accomplished everything I wanted, and he thought about it. This is the thing. I took a person who's used to being not much more important to a party than a torchbearer. The person who just carried things and mostly carried knowledge and wasn't counted on for anything. And I made him have serious thoughts, almost a metaphysical concepts about what his character meant, and could he move on without his primary function sated. Well, in the end, he chose to continue on with the group. Thought it through very well. The thought process was there. The entire last third of the session was very impactful. The group got to do a lot of shenanigans with their rivals, and they thought out some very deep challenges. And when they were finally there in the room with the trigger, they walked away. So they didn't destroy everything, as you would hope heroic characters would not. But they were there. They thought they could just put their hand in the actual scenery setup that I used was kind of similar to Total Recall, the alien chamber where you put your hand in and Mars gets terraformed. It was kind of like that. Would they have destroyed everything that existed? Would they even have destroyed themselves? Well, it's in my notes, but I don't think I'll spill those beans here. I'll let you think about it. What would have been a more appropriate way of dealing with things than destroying the world? Anyhow, that impacted me a lot because I realized that all gamers are important at your table. Casting one aside and not trying to develop them is a disservice to the particular player, and I know different players bring different things to the table, and there are some who are going to bring the kind of things that you want to develop and you want to work with. If you are a role-playing style game master, you would probably treasure the role players in your group more so than your hack and slashers, the ones who are just there to enjoy the combat and the tactical challenge. And that's fine. But as a general thought, sometimes it isn't about changing other people. Sometimes it's not about teaching people new skills that you think they need to learn. Sometimes it's just about giving a person the right stage to do what they do best and then just letting them take off a little bit. That particular player, I don't know if he ever got another chance to do something as cool and as developmental as the thought process behind that character. And after that, he still, years later, wanted to reminisce about that character. He still remembers it. It's a great memory that's been put into our minds and our shared experiences. So, I've told lots of stories. I've told funnier things. But to me, that impacted me the most. It's changed a lot of the narrative of my storytelling. Before that, I was a challenge game master. I like to throw things that challenge the players. To combat, I like to make leave the characters a bit bloodied to make them know they've been in a fight. Honestly, after that campaign, I like them to know that their characters have been touched, have developed, and have changed in some fundamental way. To me, that is the significance of telling a great story. So, I am OmnusI. That's my story. Come see me tomorrow. We'll answer another one. Until that time, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. May you have safe adventures.